You probably have questions. Many questions. You're probably sitting there like, hey, Donner, what is this idealism thing? And what exactly is going on? And why are you dressed like a cowboy? Well, let me tell you. This is it. This is the moment we've been waiting for. This is by far the most important video we have ever done. And I might even say it's the most important video on all of YouTube. Let me back up a little. You have to understand cultural movements. And the story I'm telling starts with a specific cultural movement called the Romantics. Cultural movements are just these movements that happen, throughout time, generation to generation, era to era, and they happen when a big change occurs and when the art and sort of the tone of the entire era has changed. In the late 1700s and the early 1800s, the world was plunged into the wondrous time of Romanticism. Now, as you can probably imagine, the Romantics were, romantic. They liked nature and flowery things and just all the nice little beautiful stuff, which was wonderful. That's what they liked. But sooner or later, we had the Civil War. We had a bunch of revolutions, including the Industrial Revolution and imperialism. And people, they wanted something else from their art, from their culture, from their writers, whatever it was. They wanted something else, and that's when we had realism, sort of the harsh, gritty slice of life art that really brought out some of the worst parts and the best parts of the human experience. Then, after a long while, World War I erupted and changed the world, changed the way people thought about things. And once again, we found ourselves needing something new from our art and our culture. We found that we wanted deeper meaning. We wanted more significant themes and ideas to circulate. This is when we got the modernists. Now, the modernists were, they were good. They were a great group of people, but most of them drunk themselves to death. Either way, the modernists really sought to find that deeper meaning. It's where we got all our great writers and painters in the early 20th century, all the way up till about the 50s, and then later the 60s. But after that, something else happened. We had the Cold War. We had Vietnam. We had civil rights. And in the background of that, we wanted something even further. Enter the postmodernists. Sick of all the old ways, theories, and ideas, the postmodernists were born out of their distrust for pre-established institutions and big ideas. They sought to change art and make it truly free and expressive, basically destroying any label, especially of the label art. To them, anything could be anything it needed to be, or could be, or wanted to be. It was a chaotic time. Now, some would say that we're still in the age of postmodernism. Some would even say that we're the postmodernists, whatever that means. But I'm here to tell you that's not true. That's not true because we have changed. We are far more than that, and we are more than we ever thought we could be. The circumstances are different. The internet has given rise to a whole new slew of possibilities and problems. Beyond that, climate change, new corporate control, terrorism, a nuclear weapon in every hand, and increasing consumption of every major resource. The world is a different place. Now, to say we are in the age of idealism is a bold statement. There's plenty of suffering to go around. And at this point, you're probably thinking, well, okay, Donner, you know some fancy words and you can put two and two together. All right, sure. But what does this even mean? What does this got to do with anything? Like every movement, idealism is a counter to the movement that came before it. In this case, postmodernism. Postmodernism, at its core, is about mistrust. This sort of critical, ironic cynicism that is just dripping with pessimism. And it assumes that everything pre-established is a lie or is wrong in some way, and that there are no labels, no boxes, and it discounts so many ideas as it is. And then, like a ray of golden hope that is so often elusive, we arrived, the idealists. Idealism doesn't mean the world's perfect. Far from it, in fact. But postmodernism is ugly for its own sake. And we don't want that anymore. I'd go so far as to say that in 10 years we won't be able to take that anymore. Because the world is imperfect. Because of the internet and the freedom of information, we have all been made brutally aware of everything that goes on, every atrocity, every horror that goes on in any corner of the world, but also of every beautiful thing. And something that's ugly and critical and harsh and pointless for the sake of being pointless no longer takes us away. It no longer makes us think art. We want something that's true, something that's real, something that's inspiring. I'd go so far as to say something that's ideal. And there's proof of this everywhere. We look at social media. Because of the internet, we look around and we see so many new things. I mean, if you go on social media, you'll see, it's all about who has the best thing, the very best thing. The best smile, the best teeth, the best photo, best car, whatever it is. That's what we want. And the idealists, we crave that ideal. We need it more than anything else. We need something that is so truly us, it cannot be defined any other way. We want the best, the worst, all of it at the highest points. The sad and all the darkness, we want it at the perfect level. Perfect sad and the perfect dark. More than about being perfect and about finding the best thing, idealism is about what's true. It's about having faith, having something to believe in, something that's not, dark and snarky and sarcastic and cynical like the postmodernists, but something that is genuine, something that's faithful, something that really means something to someone, anyone. That's what it's about. We want the ideal. We want this perfect idea of what things should be and how we can create them, and we will do anything to get that. Now, if you think I'm wrong, and if you honestly believe that there's something else going on, I want you to leave a comment. Tell me, what needs to be changed? What isn't right about this? What is really going on? But if you think, even for 1 minute, that this is right and that this is what's coming, then I want you to share it. Forget like and subscribe this time, because it's not about me anymore. It's about this. It's about idealism. It's about the idea. It is the self-fulfilling prophecy. Send this message to everyone you know. Social media, your blog, your website, your family, Facebook, friends, anyone you know, anywhere and everywhere. Send this message. This is it. This is us. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Now, why am I dressed like a cowboy? Well, that's the American ideal. See, life as a cowboy was really pretty awful. It probably sucked a lot if you've ever read about it. I mean, you literally go out west searching for something you probably won't find, and then you're just dead from like a snake bite or a heat stroke or a gunshot. It's awful. But that's not what it was about. That's never been what it's about. What it's about is the ideal. The ideal cowboy. The American ideal. This rugged freedom and adventure that represents the dream and the West and the United States. That's what it's about. That has always been what it's about. The ideal. Cool. I butchered that line, but that's alright. That's good. It's the improv that makes Deceptionist what it is. You have to understand... Nazis. Let me back up a little. You have to understand cultural phenomenons. Let me back up a little. You have to understand Avengers Endgame. Stop. Let me back up a little. You have to understand cultural movements.
That sounds good. Audio nice. Let's look at the... Oh, Jesus.